Hey, how you doing? It's Emilio here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about multi-factor or two-factor authentication. What is the best app for your phone? Before we do get into this video is brought to you by Moonlock, where we do cybersecurity apps for humans. Remember, as always, to also click on that subscription button on the bell so you don't miss out on any of our future video releases. And at the end, if you do like this video, give us a like as well, and feel free to leave us a comment also. What is MFA? What is 2FA? What are the differences? Well, firstly, MFA or multi-factor authentication is just the broad umbrella term that is used for logging into some sort of a service that requires more than one valid authentication measure. So for example, you need a password to log into a specific website, but sometimes that is not secure enough. So what do you need? You need another form of authentication to verify that you are actually who you say that you are. You could have two, you could have three, you could maybe have even 4 different types of authentication methods, hence multi-factor authentication. 2FA or two-factor authentication is really just a subset of multi-factor authentication, really referring to just 2 different forms of authentication, being one maybe your password, and second, what we're talking about in this video, an application that you can install on your iOS device, such as your iPhone, and then you can actually maybe get a code or some other sort of authentication measure to get you access into that service. So why is it important to have more than one validation to log into a service or an application? Unfortunately, having a password and having a password only can put you in a little bit of strife, especially if you're not using a password that is secure. Ideally, passwords need to be made up of very long, complex combinations of uppercase, lowercase characters with numbers, with special characters such as an @sign, an exclamation point, things like that, and not having it part of combinations of your name, your address, your mother's maiden name, things like that. You probably don't want to be using passwords like that. But even if you have a complex password, unfortunately, the bad people, the hackers, the malicious actors can use essentially what's called brute force attacks to try to crack passwords. They can run a little bit of code against a password account and eventually they will be able to get in. But here's the thing, if you have more than one valid authentication requirement, that is not just your password, it makes it a lot harder for somebody who's trying to access your account to get in to your account, because not only do they need to have the password, they also need to have a second form of authentication. And this is where the authentication app comes into place. Let's say, for example, I'm going to be logging into a Gmail account. As long as you've got MFA or two-factor authentication turned on that service, it will then say, all right, now go and open up your application on your phone. It'll then have a code that you can put into Gmail to then successfully log in. But that makes it a lot harder, because unless you have that second form of authentication, you're not going to be able to log in if you only have the password.
Now that you know a little bit more about two-factor authentication, let's get ourselves our iPhone. We're going to open up the App Store and we're going to search for a valid authenticator application. Some are better than others. We're going to search for Authenticator. Now there are many options available and we're going to cover just the top 5, but the first one here is the Microsoft Authenticator. Now, although it is made by Microsoft, it has full integration with the Mac and with your iOS devices. It'll authenticate quite nicely against lots of third-party accounts and websites, but also against your Microsoft services, your Google services, and a whole bunch more. The next one is the Google Authenticator, very similar to the Microsoft one, and you can authenticate against most of the key services the same as the Microsoft one. This one is also one of the leaders and very, very easy to set up. Now, both the Google and the Microsoft Authenticators are great. They work seamlessly across a wide range of services and are super easy to set up and use. But if I was to pick out one of the two, I would say the Microsoft one is a little bit better because it also supports passwordless logins, push notifications, has strong security features, and also has cloud backups and account recovery options, which the Google one does not. Now, Authenticator by TwoStable has an excellent interface. It also will sync seamlessly across your devices, including macOS. And they actually have a strong emphasis on security, providing end-to-end encryption. Now, compared to the first two, it is not as established. It hasn't been around as long, so it may impact some of your support offerings and also may lack some of the advanced features. Now, the next one up is one called Duo Mobile. This is the green one. This one is awesome. It gives you higher levels of security with options even even for biometric verifications, which is awesome. Gives you stuff like push notifications, support for multiple accounts. Now, it's used a lot in the corporate environment, but also for the home users, and works fantastic with iOS, your second form of authentication. Now, the only thing is that some of the features on here may be a little bit overkill for the personal users, but some of them you may enjoy. And the very last one is LastPass Authenticator. Now, this one is great because it has full integration with the LastPass password manager. So if you're wanting to keep all your passwords secure, things like this, it also does the push notifications, does the cloud backups, and is very easy to recover, especially when you are switching devices. So all 5 will work great on your iOS device, with some having better features than others. Let's now give you a demo on using Google Authenticator. Once the app has been installed, you open it up, you set it up, you configure it with your login, and then we're going to go and start scanning some QR codes. So for example, inside of my Gmail, I want to go and set up an authentication against my Gmail, against my app. I can click on Setup Authenticator. It's going to provide me a QR code right over here. I then grab my phone and I'm simply going to go and scan that QR code. It then adds that QR code directly into my Authenticator app. All I do then is open up my phone when it's prompting me for an authenticator code, and it'll be listed inside of my Authenticator app. So although all 5 are great, and I would recommend any of the 5, the 2 that I'd probably say are the better ones are going to be your Microsoft and your Google Authenticator. They are the ones that are used more than any others. They are the most popular. They're the ones that have the most features, and they also work great for you as a home user on a Mac, on your iOS device. But also, if you're working in a business and that company needs you to have MFA, then those apps will also do the trick, and they will scan most of your common QR codes.
So it's very, very important to make sure that you are using 2FA on almost every single service that you can. If the website, if the application that you are using has the ability to use MFA or 2FA, turn it on. That's the end of this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. As I said, my name is Emilio. This is Moonlock. I would love it if you let us know down below in the comments what you thought. Give us a like as well. And also remember to do the subscription button, clicking on the button on the bell so that you don't miss out on anything. And we'll see you on the next video.